Hey writers, it's Megan coming at you live in the All Writers Welcome group. And I want to start by saying welcome. We have a lot of new people. It used to be that when people joined, we had the time to welcome you all individually or somewhat individually, and now things are just growing too quickly for that to happen. So I do want to extend a welcome to anybody who has joined and hasn't, had some like personal interaction yet. We are real people. We're here to help writers. All the writers in this group are here to teach and learn from one another. So I really do welcome you, and I hope you have a good experience, and we want everybody to grow from being here. Because we have a lot of new folks, I also wanted to touch on a little bit of housekeeping, things to post and things not to post, but I actually have a larger purpose with this. You may see that the topic is how to practice being a writer. So I want to start with some of the things that Ella and I are going to ask you to do in the group, but then I'm going to show you why those things are actually really positive for your practice of being a writer, especially if you're a writer who is looking to publish or who already publishes or who is an author or wants to become an author. If you want your writing to go out to other people, these are things that you will want to keep in mind and you'll want to practice. All right, so if you read our group descriptions, you'll see that our only rule is be kind. And this is self-explanatory, just be kind. But I want to give you an example of why this is something that will help your writing practice. Okay, recently there was a post in the group and it was like, hey, grammar matters. And some people were responding and saying, yeah, grammar does matter, and I'm in agreement on that. But we also have a lot of people for whom English is not a first language. We have some really incredibly brave writers in this group who are spread all over the world and who are writing in their non-native language. I can't even imagine how much courage that takes. I have some really bumbling language skills in other languages myself, and writing and putting work out there in a different language for me is an overwhelming thought. So, let's look at this example and think about how you can give that message and be kind, and also do something that's more valuable for you as a writer. I want to, the recent example was like, hey, grammar matters. And the feel of that is, oh, now everybody's kind of embarrassed. And it even started like a little mini controversy, I guess you could say, where people were going back and forth on, yeah, but we're in a Facebook group. This is not published writing. We are not saying this is an edited final copy. So when I see a post like that, I go, what's a way that that same idea could be put out there in a kinder framework? And we actually had this example from one of our writers way, I don't know, back in ancient history, like several weeks ago, right? And when she posted about this topic, it was a reminder. And what she put out there was, hey, writers, you are putting yourself out there as a writer. So what you write will help people decide whether they want to read your longer works. And if you're continually going around on Facebook groups or just in general on social media and on the web, making common errors and the kind of errors that you could probably avoid if you took the time to just do a little quick proofread, right? We all mistype, we all get the wrong word sometimes, but just taking 30 seconds to go back and reread would make it look like you care. And so I'm really just struck by the difference between those two posts. They're both saying, hey, for us as writers, it's important that we pay attention to grammar and usage and spelling and proofreading. But one of them is aimed at saying, guys, heads up, here's something you could do that would grow your craft and help people want to connect with you. And one is kind of just putting a statement out there without a feeling that there's a back and forth in a conversation. And what we would love to achieve in this group is information, inspiration, questions and comments that are put out there with a feeling of, hey, let's engage together about this. We call our group All Writers Welcome. We don't call it, you can only stay here if you are super perfect in every way. We want people to use this as a kind of workshop space. We want you guys to be able to post things and get feedback. We want you to be able to ask questions and to say, I'm really stuck on something. Does anybody have a suggestion? We want you to be able to be less polished in this group than you are when you put your published writing out there, or, you know, if you're sending a query letter to an agent, we are not the public that's demanding perfection. We do want to help one another grow, but we want to do it in the spirit of starting conversations. So that's the part about being kind. But I also really want to remind you, this is a group about writing, and we have had some posts that are very heartfelt and that are people sharing in very vulnerable ways, but they may not be topics about writing. And this just puts us in a difficult situation because we don't want to tell anybody, you know, go away with your feelings, right? You know, feelings are a big part of writing, and we get it. But there may be another group out there that's better suited to receive things that are very deep and personal and that are not writing related. But that said, if somebody does post something that's deep and personal, being kind means not coming back with an attack. And you certainly don't have to engage. If there's a post in here and you go, gosh, I have no interest in that topic, just pass it by. Totally fine. In fact, I think that's the best course of action. All right, so those are some things about our group in particular, and I told you I was going to link those to how you can practice being a writer. And one of them kind of already came through, or let me say it more explicitly. It's clear in my mind. I don't think I said it really clearly. If you want to write, if you want to be a writer, it means you want to be understood. You want to create clear communication with other people. So that means you need to build the habit of writing things that engage. So writing something that is kind of negative or, you know, borderline ranty, or that you're just shoving out there like, I did my part and I'm walking away. Can you see how that's not helping you grow as a writer? I'm not saying that everything you write has to be touchy-feely, but the spirit in which you share should be, I want to reach other people with this. I want other people to understand this. I want them to be able to see where I'm coming from. I want them to be able to connect with it and engage. So by practicing posting in this group in the spirit of kindness, you really are practicing your craft of being a writer. I very strongly believe that. So I just, beyond having that as a rule for our group, for just keeping things pleasant for everybody, I really encourage you to see the good that this will have for you. Okay, then going a step beyond, if you are somebody who is already publishing, who wants to publish, who wants to be an author, or already considers him or herself an author, you are putting yourself out in the world in a very vulnerable way. And you want people to respond to you with kindness. You want them to, if they have feedback, to give it in a constructive way. Right? None of us as authors is looking forward to the 1-star review where somebody just says, this was poop, you know, and doesn't give any reasons why, and there's nothing we can get from that. There's no way we can grow from that. So practice being your author self here. Practice being, you know, somebody who others want to follow and hear from. Practice being somebody who is engaging and, you know, open to, I guess there's two things here. One is you want to be the person that others are eager to follow and want to hear more from. But you also, because you're putting your work out there, you know, you want to give the kind of feedback that you yourself would want to receive. And there's a third point here, and sorry if this is kind of abstract. I think by talking and I think by writing. And so I had this kernel of an idea that I wanted to share with you guys, and once it gets more fully formed, maybe I'll write it down. But I felt like it was important to share because of the size that we have, and it's easy to feel anonymous on the internet. But the way to market yourself as an author, as you guys will learn from anything that Ella covers in her marketing videos and marketing resources, is to make connections and relationships with people. So the more you can practice being kind, giving specific feedback, starting conversations, engaging with people in positive ways, the more you're actually practicing your marketing skills and strategies as well. But the final piece of this is that when we're rude, we're actually using less critical thinking. It's easy to just shut down another person by saying you're wrong or that's stupid or whatever it is that prevents us from having to think further to the why. And if you want to be a really good writer, you need to be a very good critical thinker. Because the biggest part of revising and of editing is going through and going, why isn't that working? What here is not sitting well with me? So if somebody is writing something and you disagree, that's totally fine. We don't all have to agree with one another. And you can, in a kind way, go, well, what about this? Or, I'm not sure what context you're in, but in my context, this is the experience that I've had. And what you're doing there is engaging your critical thinking. This is the same skill you would use if you're beta reading or if you're revising your own work, right? You're looking at something and saying, let me pinpoint what about that isn't working or what I disagree with, and then put it into words and make it a critique that somebody else can grow from. A lot of you are in writing critique groups, whether online or in person, and you know the power of getting feedback from somebody you trust, and you can trust that it's honest, but you can also trust that it's not mean-spirited. And that combination is what helps us grow as writers. So there's a lot here, and I would be interested in hearing your guys' thoughts. But let me just sum up. Be kind, keep it about writing, and use any difference of opinion you have with other writers in the group as an opportunity to practice your critical thinking, which is what sharpens your skills as a reviser and a beta reader, and also helps you give specific feedback so that everybody else can grow. All right, sounds easy, right? Just follow those rules and you'll be great. And that will keep our group a happy place that people want to be. It will also help you as a writer practice the skills, being open to criticism yourself, being a critical thinker, being a person in a public space that others want to be around and follow, which are going to be extremely helpful to you as you go on your writing journey and become or continue being an author. So it's good all around. It's good for the group, it's good for you, and we just want this to be a positive place. And for those of you who are doing the challenge right now, I just want to give a shout out to you and say you are awesome. And I really admire your commitment. If you're somebody who's going, what challenge, you can sign up for it. It's called a 7-day writing challenge, and we did start on July 5th, although people didn't get the prompts until July 6th. So we are going to keep it open and not award prizes for a little while. We'll give you some warning before we do the cutoff so that people dripping in have a chance to go through all 7 days. And when you sign up, there's a spreadsheet where you'll be able to post your writing for every day and then for the total challenge. So you can get on that by finding the post that says the 7-day challenge is on, like Donkey Kong. And there's a link to sign up there. But again, we're gonna, because people have started at different times, we're not going to close the original 7 days and start giving out prizes until we give you guys some warning. You'll know before that's happening. So for anybody who's like, oh, I didn't know about it, I didn't get a chance to start, you're cool, you're good, there's still time. And of course, even if you're not competing for prizes, you're upping your word count and you are increasing your writing skill. So rock on to all of you who are doing the challenge or anybody who's about to start. I'm really impressed by all of what you guys are doing. All right, that's it for now, and I look forward to hearing more from you guys in the group. Take care.